I welcome you to a Wi-Fi Lunchtime service, your service for revisiting fellowships and inner life mastery. I encourage you to allow yourself to partake fully in every aspect of this service and experience growth with us. Relax and take a few deep breaths and allow gratitude and thankfulness to rise within you. Follow with me as I go through these declarations. I am not here. Sacred life is here, glorifying itself as me. This thing called life is conscious of itself, through me and through all units of itself. This life, which is the body of the entire universe, is my mother and is also the life of me. And this life supports and promotes itself as me. This one life is the awesome, intelligent, animating force. This is the life of the element of which I live. I am spirit, one with the spirit of all life, empowered by life to bring life's supreme purpose into fruition. This life that I live is the life that has come into its own self as me. There is a power beyond me that can handle all things that are beyond me, and is working for my highest goodness. I cannot afford not to be here on earth. I am here for the power that brought itself here as me, and constitutes my being, and for itself. What the universe does, what the universe needs to fulfill, is here as me, and for me to accomplish it. What the universe does to itself is what is done to me. It supports itself for its own complete good, and so it does to me and through me. I am the life of life of life that promotes itself and fulfills itself. Of course, we're going to go through our visions and missions. Wi-Fi serves to reveal our divine identity, advocate Christ culture, and equip humanity for the relevant engagement in life and ministry in an atmosphere of unconditional love, trust, faith, and spiritual power. Our mission is to influence the mindset change through the revelation of humanity's oneness with the divine, and to equip individuals with the truth of who they are, to the intent of having firmly grounded, to also be empowered, to also empower others to be impactful in every sphere of life. Our core values are unconditional love, uplifting spirit, integrity, selflessness, trustworthiness, and tenacious devotion. We believe that all life begins and ends within the triune Godhead, and all humanity is spiritually included in the love and life of the divine. We believe that this inclusive relationship is delivered timelessly, sustained and guaranteed by the nature of the Father who fills all things. We equally believe in the urgency to make mankind aware of the good news of their redemption from the inferior expression of life to the most abundant and attractive life possible. I'll now pass on to Pastor K.
Hallelujah. God bless you, Joshua, for beautiful affirmations and constantly reminding us of what we believe in and what we stand for as a church. We thank God for what He's doing in our lives. We thank God for how far He has brought us as a church individually. And we thank God for what we are yet to experience. I'm more interested in what I'm yet to experience. And rightly, as Joshua said, we cannot afford not to be here. The universe has chosen us, He's chosen you, He's chosen me to display the glory of the Father in. Just as Jesus said, Father, the glory you've given me, I give also unto them. I think it's too deep a mystery. And I always say it in this way, that what Jesus meant was the Father, the understanding that I know, what I am, what I've become, what that I'm doing. I pray they walk in that understanding. I'm so happy to be here because I cannot afford to not be here. I come here every Sunday afternoon as if my life depends on it. It's not a cliche, and I don't say it to feel the short time that I have just to make words and then hand over. But I mean every bit of what I say. Because indeed my life depends on it. You are the reason why we come here every day, as Rev you always say, and I've bought into it. You are the reason why my Sundays are Sundays. Because I yearn and I long to come and share fellowship with you, to come and experience the God that you are. No wonder Jesus enjoyed himself. He will go to every man, regardless. Go to every party that was happening, every event, he will show up. To the extent that the Pharisees will come, why ask the disciples, why do your master mingle with these people? And that is the reason why, that is my reason why I come here every Sunday afternoon, to enjoy the God that you are, because you are. God is having a unique experience in you that I want to tap into, that I want to enjoy, that I also want to have that experience of. And so I'm so happy to be here, Rev. And I know you're happy as well. We thank God for all he's about to do. We thank God for the lives that are being changed. We thank God for transformations of mind. We thank God for renewal of mind. The testimonies that are coming our way, the truth that is constantly invading our realms. We are so grateful to God for how far he has brought us in this journey. I had someone call me and they said to me that, what is it that we do? This was a question. What is it that we do? Because we always hear every Sunday afternoon. Is it so? He wanted to ask if it's a church that we are doing, or it's a program. Like, you know, he didn't. He wants to know. Yeah, sorry. And I said we meet for some sort of program. And I laughed. And I just said to him, if you want to listen, just listen. And then however that you want to take it, so be it. It's so funny. Anyway, the reason why I brought that in is because mindsets are being changed, Rev. For your sake, for the sake of all those here, Brother Iben. I was going to say Sister Sika, but no, Sika, you can't ask sister. So permit me to say Sika with all respect added to it. My son Joshua, minds are being changed. People are having experiences. They just don't know where to place that experience or place a finger on where that experience came from, because their understanding, their concept of church is different from what we are doing. So they don't know whether they listen, they had the experience, but they don't know whether it was a church experience or it was some sort of motivational speaking experience. So to whatever that you want to take it. The mission is accomplished, the mission is done. The mission is to renew mindset. The mission is to fill the world with happiness. The mission is to fill the world with liberation. It doesn't matter whether you hear it from a pulpit or you hear it from me lying on my bed. Once you catch the mission, once you catch the flow, the angels are happy. And the Bible says that if one so repents, the angels become happy. So that is all that matters. And this afternoon is no different. The truth of his word is invading our realms. The entrance of his word brings light, it brings understanding to those who do not have it at this particular time. Myself included, because I want to experience more. I want to experience more of you. To avail myself, and I sit here with an open heart, an open mind to enjoy the fellowship with you. I thank God for your life once again. In the name of Jesus, have I prayed. Amen. You can take over, Rev.
I want us to the next 2 minutes. I want you to enjoy some breaths with me. Calmly allow yourself to relax. Close your eyes if you can, if you want to. Just permit your body to just sink into you. And with every breath, listen to what this body is saying inside of you. Material essence, you live in this body. But in consciousness, this temple is inside you. You've been here longer than this form or this body that we see. Allow yourself to enjoy the breath, pulsating even in this time. And as you take in the in-breaths, I want you to breathe and scan from the soles of your feet all the way to the tip or the crown of your head. And as you exhale, allow your belly to get filled with air and scan from the crown of your head to the sole of your feet. And listen to every sensation in your body. As that in stillness, in quietness shall be your confidence, shall be your strength, that you would know. Ah, amen.
Amen.
Whilst we're having live study, we talked a bit about breathing. Not that we talked a bit about breathing. We discussed breathing this morning. Whilst I was discussing with the boys. I don't know, Jay, do you want to share in 2 sentences what you picked up from the session you had this morning? As if you're still there.
Well, we was focusing on breathing. Like through your breathing. I remember you said something about 30-minute breathing to 30 minutes of doing a certain type of breathing to 21 days could improve your intuition.
That's what you heard, yeah?
That's something I heard.
Okay. What do you consider now to be the benefit of breathing or enhanced breathing? For one benefit. Forgotten.
Yeah.
That's okay.
No, it's not.
I'm telling you, that's okay. You're saying it's not. It's okay. If you remember along the line, you can check. So I'm sure we have. I remember we had done a session. I remember when we were doing meditation session, or our lesson on meditation, and I chipped this in that when we talk about basic needs, we're still dealing with. We are concluding our topic today on conscious giving, the practice of conscious giving. I just thought to chip this in because it's something I've done a script. I've done a script that I will produce this week, and I'll share with yourself. We know the length of time we can survive without food, the length of time we can survive without water, the length of time we can survive without air. This, in my opinion, points to what is most essential. And I've talked about that in the past, so I'm not going to bore you with that again. I just thought to just for the benefit of people who maybe watch us for the first time, listen to us for the first time, and they're wondering, okay, what's all this? I was telling Amma earlier on in the week that I've come to understand not many people know how to breathe properly. And these are things that we take for granted. We think, because we are born and nobody tells you to pull air for you to breathe back. I've come to accept that it's something that we learn. And we did a test this morning, where we realized that when I ran the boys through, almost all of them were breathing through the test. And the aim is to engage your diaphragm best as you can. And there are reasons for that, both spiritual and medical reasons for that. Use the belly and engage the fire in the belly to ignite the various energy points in your body and fire yourself up to health, vitality, and also improved intuition or whichever however you want to. And I was thinking on this earlier in the week. If you critically look at it, you realize that your life as a human is what happens between your first inhalation and your last exhalation. See, what we refer to as life generically are the sequence of activities, events, and circumstances which happen between when we take in air for the first time and when we give out air for the last time. What happens in between your in-breath and your out-breath, that is life. Correct. God formed man out of the dust of the earth, he says, put into the account, breathed into him the breath of life, and then that man became a living soul. Breath is important. So, a friend of mine who sometime last year was telling me that, you know what, Sam, I struggle with this meditation thing, and when I lie down, or when I sit up, my mind gets that is when thoughts rush in and my mind gets bombarded with thoughts. My mind gets bombarded with activity. And it doesn't really make me enjoy it, and I have not been keeping consistent with it. And I said, it doesn't even matter. So long as you understand, you just pause and ask yourself, okay, so thoughts, you can't stop thoughts. You know, with improved and engaged practice, discipline also, or certain levels of discipline, you can experience thoughtlessness. I've talked about this in the past. I'm not going to, where you realize that thinking doesn't become your habit any longer. Yes, thoughts come to your mind, but thinking, there's a difference between thoughts coming to your mind and beyond the same. Thinking causes commotion, it causes chaos. Causes worry, it causes anxiety. I just told her, don't worry about it. Just give yourself 2 minutes. When you open your eyes, the moment your eyes open, lie down, just enjoy your breath and feel yourself in your body as you breathe. Just do that, and don't worry about any spiritual reasoning that you are assigning to it. Just breathe. We have, I think, we've looked at conscious giving for the last 5 weeks. This is week 6. And I promise you today, we wrap it up. We talked about, we touched on receiving the last time. And re-emphasized how and why the mention of giving, in as much as we have indicated that what we give is not just money, it appears to be something that we can't get away from. So today I'll focus on money. I'll focus a little bit on money. And then we will wrap up. If there are any questions, we will take them. I did say that in giving or in receiving, we need to understand that what we give to is we give to life, or life gives to us. Because the breath that is all breath, coming into itself as all breath, and life that is coming into itself as all life, is the same. That is finding expression as itself through each and every one of us. The ocean and the wave analogy, perfect. We've been through this a lot of times. The wave being an individuation of the ocean, and when you see it, when you see it like that, then it makes it easy for you to understand. For him to mention that the Father who has given birth to me is in me as me. In that day, you will know that I am in you, I am in the Father, and the Father in me, and me in a unit never to be separated. Based on that, we say that all that there is life. I have a laugh sometimes when I hear people quote from the Bible that all power belongs to God, and at the same time you say that there's a power outside of God that is fighting God. Comical. Either all power belongs to him or all power doesn't belong to him. So we can't say all power belongs to him and still ascribe a power to a being or an entity outside of him that is fighting with him. That is funny. And Paul says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, against dominion in every high place. Say that we are seated with him in heavenly places, far by principalities and powers. High place is the stronghold of your own mind. There's no creation of any devil anywhere. All have come from God. All is God. And the fact that an entity is unschooled and untrained in understanding their essence and their significance. Someone can use electricity, cook. Another can use electricity to burn down a house. It is still the same power. How it's being used or how it's being utilized by the one handling it doesn't define the power. It only defines the understanding and the appreciation, the intelligence of the one handling it. Simple as that. In our lifetime, our mission is and remains to flood this world, this beautiful universe, this planet of ours, with the knowledge to the intent that all beings will receive an understanding of who they are and the purposefulness that has engulfed us. So the one who considers himself a black witch will come to an appreciation that he has come well, obey, and they will use that spirit to do good to humans and for humans. Bank Bank of Ghana is Bank of England is kind of best, you know. So we educating these spirits as well, or these entities. I don't even want to call them spirits. These entities have an appreciation of what the power they have is meant to be channeled towards, and meant for all. Life is only benefiting itself, and all that life does is for its own good and its own good, of which all of us are a part. So said that giving up brings us up to receive, because demonstrates the trust that we have in the abundance. And giving her the mind of receiving, that's manipulation, and it holds you bound to the fear that what will happen if I do not get back? What will happen if I don't receive? What will happen if I need and I don't have to attend to my need? So we give to life because life has given to us bountifully. And we receive from life, not from individuals, or not from predetermined or preconceived or preconditioned individuals. That reduces us and then limits the channels through which life blesses us. All that life has got responsibility for is taking care of itself through his own chosen channels. So I talked about giving off our thoughts, giving off our feelings, giving off our emotions, and asking yourself, this thought that I'm producing, yielding at this particular time, how is it producing love? How is it producing peace? How is it producing joy? How is it producing power? What sort of power is it in the life of the beneficiary? This particular thought I'm projecting. We will touch a little bit on that. And I'll share with you some practice, a practice that I've been doing for about 6 and a bit months now. And if it resonates with you, by all means, practice it as well. So what this helps us, because I said, I think it was a Raja who was having a conversation with the other day, and he was asking me, why is life? And I said that in very simple terms, the purpose of living, or the purpose of life as we see it and as we know it, is just to awaken us. It's just to keep us conscious. That's all it is for. So when you have that understanding, you are better able to make the most of everything that life presents, including the things that we consider unpleasant and undesirable outcomes and pain and everything else that comes across. All of that is designed to keep us conscious. So I'll share with you a little bit on how I practice giving off my mind, my feelings, and my body. Is that okay? So no one gives, none of us gives. It's only life that gives. No one receives, it's only life that receives. I can't overly state that point. In every moment we find ourselves in, whether we're giving off our material, mental, or emotional, or let's say, material, mental, or emotional products, how do we view that? So the question then remains, in me talking about we giving off, because I've already indicated that let's not limit giving to just money, even though the majority or the bulk of our giving centers on that. I want us to expand our awareness, begin to appreciate other things we do, or I'll say other things we do, or other aspects of giving that we don't tend to focus on, or we don't tend to pay attention to. So you just ask yourself the very simple question: in what way am I being a beneficial presence to myself ultimately, and also to the one I call other? How conscious are you of your own thoughts, of your own feelings? How consciously do you give yourselves, or do you give yourself to any relationship that you? I'm not sure if any of us have experienced this before, that you communicate or you think of someone in a particular way, or you think of someone in a particular light, and you meet them and they behave consistent with the thoughts that you have of them. I'm not sure if any of us have had that kind of experience. We have it all the time, but maybe we don't pay attention to it. Has anyone got an experience like that they want to share? Like consciously or unconsciously projecting a thought to and of someone, and they happen to respond to that thought or feeling. Has anyone got any such experience to share? Anyone at all? Are we here? Okay. So I have, and I do, and I consciously. Give me 1 sec. And since I became aware that I can communicate, I can send, I can share thoughts, feelings, and emotions with people, I use it. And it's part of my giving to the space of love. Because in practicing giving, we need to understand or appreciate the fact that the first and the only person you give to is yourself. Said this. And is it possible for you to be angry towards someone without you feeling the anger? Is it possible?
What?
Is it possible to be angry towards someone without you feeling the anger?
No.
It's not possible, is it?
Wait.
It's absolutely impossible. Don't tell anybody you can't. When are you talking? Okay.
No, yeah, I was just going to say that if you're angry with someone, how does that benefit? Does it benefit the person or you, or does it destroy the person or you? Because if you're angry with me, I don't know you're angry with me. It doesn't bother me. I don't have any feeling towards you. But you are harboring that feeling. You are having that emotions. So at the end of it, you are rather in pain. Whoever you're angry with has no idea. So you cannot, like you say, it's impossible to be angry with somebody without you experiencing the feeling. Because it's only you who can experience the feeling. The person will not know. Even if you tell me that I'm angry with you, I can't feel it. You are feeling it. So I think even anger itself is foolishness to be angry, to be fair. Go on.
So it says that anger lies in the bosom of a fool. That's what the passage says. Yeah, it's just what it is. Because I think this week I was driving and I took a quick turn. It wasn't a dangerous turn, but just because the gentleman was driving a bit erratic. So because of the manner in which he was driving, when I cut in front of him, he was driving faster than he was supposed to in that what do they call it, in that space. So he felt that I'd kind of undertaken him. That's how it felt like. And then he walked past me and gave me a gesture. And I just looked at him and I smiled. And at that point, I was just telling myself, he did that only to make himself feel good, to make himself justified that okay, he's done something, I'm pissed off, and I'm letting him know that I'm pissed off. that I've come to understand destroys us more than anything else. The entitlement that we have to being upset, the entitlement that we have to being angry, the entitlement that we have to our negative emotions, they destroy us more than the things which actually annoy us. Someone is feeling upset. I'm like, oh, you know what? It's okay. You don't have to be. Why should I not be upset? Why should I not be angry? It's one of the most, in my opinion, I'm just choosing my word. Give me a better word.
Stupid excuse.
In my opinion, no, seriously, someone is telling you don't have to be. Why should I not be angry? Okay, go ahead. Why should I not be upset? Okay, go ahead. Why should I not be sad? Okay, go ahead. It's so the first and the only person to give to is yourself, because whatever you're giving out, it hits you first before it goes out. You understand? It hits you. It hits you. So, and I've said when we say you, stop thinking about you in terms of this body. No. You are not the body sculpture that the what's called the body sculpture that you sat here wearing. You're not. It only lives in you. Okay. You are a spirit being with a mind, feelings, and a body. You don't live in the body lives in you. You have a body. Okay. There are various thoughts to that, but that is how I see it. Okay. I'm not really anybody else. That's how you see it. That's how I see it. So, and each of these aspects of us is an intelligent field in itself. When I'm talking about you giving to yourself, then I'm saying that it begins to help you understand, because you might be giving to your feelings, you might be giving to your mind, you might be giving to your emotions, you might be giving to the body, you're giving to various aspects of this complex composition called you. And all of these aspects of you they are intelligent fields in their own right. Even though they are interconnected, they equally exist independent. So that's why I picked up the practice of giving to my mind, giving to my feelings, giving to my body. And Brother Ishmael shares something in the way forward. Hold on. He uses an analogy that I particularly like, and I think it's relevant to what we're talking about. So I'll keep it. He says that in the story, hold on a second. He said in the story of the birth of Jesus, 3 wise men presented him with the gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Okay, and he says that gold is usually found mixed up in rock particles. It has to be grounded, mixed with chemicals, then extracted. It represents the evolved state of the mind that has been freed from all base human thoughts. To give to your mind, acknowledge the perfect state of the mind and describe it until it is real to you. Probe into yourself. When I am mentally evolved, what is that like? Respond to this inquiry several times until you know it is to be true. Talks about frankincense, and he says frankincense speaks of the evolved state of the feeling. Frankincense has a deodorizing fragrance. Therefore, there are people whose presence in an argument adds fuel to the fire. There are others who generate soothing and healing feelings. These are those who have an evolved feeling body. These are those who have an evolved feeling body. When you go to a room where people have just quarreled, you feel the energy of the tension. Similarly, a person whose presence inspires soothing feelings can be felt. Probe into yourself. When I am emotionally evolved, what is that like? Respond to this inquiry several times until you know it is to be true. Then he talks about myrrh. It arrests degeneration. It is therefore used to mummify the dead to arrest decomposition. It speaks of the evolved, ever rejuvenated physical state. Probe into yourself. When I am physically evolved, what is that like? Respond to this inquiry several times until you know that it is true. Powerful. This forms for me what I call an expanded giving program. That takes giving beyond just material substance. Because if giving opens you to receive, okay, how many of us, so we all at some point have given substance, let's say for instance, or we have shown kindness to someone. If you show kindness to someone and they appreciate it, how does it make you feel? How does it make you feel?
Well, obviously, it will make you feel good. It will make you feel like you've done something good, sort of.
I might just hear of you.
Can you hear me, Rev?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I said if you offer help to someone in substance and then the person appreciates it and say thank you, it makes you feel like you've done something good. It makes you feel good. It probably like Sika also says that it's good and it encourages you to do more. Obviously, because the person is appreciative, whenever he comes again, you are more likely to give to one who is appreciative than one who is not.
Very true. So, you see, none of us can give what we don't have. See? And the fact that, when we're talking about receiving, I just said that, the moment you tie in, you're given to an expected or reciprocated act, it becomes limiting. But with that also, why do you think you feel good? Okay, let me ask a question in that way. Why do you think we feel good when our good and our kindness is being appreciated? Why do we feel good?
Well, I think it's part of our nature. When you do something, you want to see progress. You want to see that what you are doing is being acknowledged, sort of. And so if I'm doing something, nobody's acknowledging it, it brings your morale down. If somebody acknowledges what you are doing, it makes you do it more. If somebody takes a look at what you've done, it makes you feel like, oh, okay, so people are seeing what I'm doing. So it feels good, like I said earlier on, you feel good of yourself that you've been able to offer help to somebody. You feel happy, you have all the good feelings. If I give you and you say thank you, it makes me feel like I've done something right.
So then, does it make a difference if our good doesn't get? How do we reconcile that with what Jesus says? What Jesus means when he says that, therefore, when you do your kindness, when you do your acts of good, let not the right hand see what the left hand does.
Yeah, you're right. Now, all that I've said is how it has been and how our feelings have been. But with a better understanding, I was watching last week because I was here. I was watching last week, and you did pose a question. I was deliberating upon it, and the question was: is it okay to give and expect a return from who you give to? If you remember last week, you asked that question, and then you were deliberating upon. And I was saying this to myself. I have this mindset. I think I've shared it with you before, and I do say it humorously. In the past, I used to say humorously, But I was doing it until it got to a point I realized that what I was saying humorously is becoming real. Like I do it and then I'm experiencing it. I used to say this. And it's my policy. That's what I always tell Mary that. I don't need to save. Not that I don't have savings. And I say that in this arena. That if I have £1,000 that I'm saving, so let me save this, let me put this money down in case something happens to me or for emergency purposes. And if somebody comes to me with an emergency, why do I have to save the money? For something to happen to me, and when something has not happened to me now, that something has happened to somebody.
Exactly.
I'll give that money to that somebody. And wait, I always say that when something happens to me, somewhere, somehow, somebody will give me money. And that has always been my mindset.
That works.
And I always say that to Mary. If I have money, I save. I have some little savings there. But if somebody comes to me in need, at that particular time, the person is in need, why do I have to put that resources down and with that, I be in need? You see, I was thinking of this. We always say this, oh, anytime I get money, something comes and then I need to use that money. Boom. Because you're always thinking that something must happen for you to use your money. We used to say that boom, they use the money for that. Boom. It is because we have that feeling you can't give out because you are putting that money down for BB to be boom. So that if something happens, and I've run with that policy or that mindset for a long time, so much that I felt the experience. There's been instances where that I wanted to do something that I didn't have the means. Somebody comes and says, oh, can you not do this? Oh, I have this. Can I offer you this? That I've not even asked. I shared this with you because I wanted to do something like that some years back and I didn't have the means, the money. And I was just discussing with him. I said, I'm going on a course. I was dropping him a camp. I'm going on a course. Go home, go and take my credit card and do. I didn't ask him anything. I didn't ask him anything, Rev. He suggested that I go home, take his credit card, buy whatever that because it was a bit like expensive. Which I mean, anybody will use, like most people use credit card to buy. I didn't ask him. I have seen it working, and that is so. When you say I give, not expecting to receive from the person I gave to, but I give knowing that when I'm in need, I'll get it somewhere. So where it comes from, I don't care.
Thank you. Rightly so. Rightly so. See, I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but let me just say this because we're talking about, I'll come back to that. I was talking about money earlier on, yeah? This is something that over the years, I'll probably say the best part of the last 6-7 years, I have come to accept in also my dealings with people. Money, yeah, and make even supposedly awakened souls unconscious. If you were to ask me for one thing that can cause people to become unconsciously reactive, I'll say money. Because we haven't come to understand what money is for and why money. Right now, the outlook I have towards money, it is just energy. And I choose how to expend that energy. It's just energy. Okay? And I have accepted, or through my experience, I do a lot of, a lot of observation. I'm a philosopher, so I'll look at life and make conclusions based on my observations of life and my interaction. And I've realized over time, people who have, or people that come around who have got certain triggers and certain urges about money. When you drill down and you get, or I begin to have an appreciation of where they're coming from, you always realize that it comes down to an experience somewhere along the line where we've got either a background of lack, a background of scarcity, coming from places where money was an uncomfortable subject to talk about because there isn't enough, and stuff like that. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that someone can't come from a background of scarcity, a background of lack, and not transcend that kind of trigger. But I have, in my dealings with people, I've come to understand most of the time people who have got very sharp reactions and sharp triggers to money, when you drill down, you realize that there have been experiences like that in the background somewhere that they have not transcended.
It's true.
You in the same way you can have people who have come from a background of abundance. It doesn't necessarily mean that they've got a mindset that transcends scarcity. There are a lot of very cheap, rich people around. In the same way, there are a lot of very wealthy, poor people around. Energy and it's a state of mind. Similar to what you're talking about. Okay. And I was watching the movie of St. Francis of Assisi sometime. He is a man I've read about growing up. And when I was watching the movie, it really touched me, particularly his conversation with the Pope. And so this is a man, I'm not sure how much we know about Francis of Assisi.
Yeah, I know a few of his quotes. I've read a few of his. Yeah,
he came from a very privileged background. His father was a filthy Roman merchant in the Catholic Church, was a priest, and this man lived a lie. He wanted to live a life of penury because he didn't understand. It didn't make sense to him what all the wealth that his family had was for. He went through the Catholic system, and his teachings appealed to a lot of people because he didn't want anything. He forsook his family's wealth and everything, and was teaching people about building treasures, or what's called treasures that are the innate qualities that we have as humans. That's your compassion, your kindness. Those ways.
It's saying that he made this code which changed my life, my mind. He said, go out there, preach the gospel, and only use words when necessary.
Yeah.
It changed my perception about preaching, and then
that people are reading. See? And fast forward, he lived that life, goes to the Pope to request for him to have an order to go. I'm not sure, most of us who probably have an understanding. And then his message appealed to a lot of people. And you know what happened? Over time, he all of a sudden realized that the order was having wealth. Like, he wasn't begging people, he wasn't begging anybody for money. They were not taking any donations from anyone, but they found themselves with lands and property and everything. Like, I don't have anything to do with this. And I understand that if we don't have this, maybe I'll exit the scene and there wouldn't be anything concrete to transition through. So he permitted it to be, but he associated himself. You look at Jesus. It says that the Son of Man doesn't have anywhere to lay his head, but he wasn't poor. Yeshua, we know, wasn't poor, according to the stories. He said that there were women who funded him. It's there in the scriptures, subtly. You know, can you imagine that if I've got like 10 women around me who are sending me money to do ministry? If it was someone to go and say, oh, this man is exploiting women and stuff like that, isn't it? But generally, that was his life. Women like Mary, Salome, they were supporting him with their substance. But she wasn't attached to any of that. You understand? Flip it on the side. Flip it on the side. If I was to ask you right now, what is your relationship with money? That goes for all of us. If you want to put something in the chat, you can put money. You can put it. What is your relationship with money? How do you see money? What is money for?
Money is meant to be spent, yeah. Yeah. Money is meant to chill. Well, obviously, if you ask me what's money meant for, it's meant for transaction. Like you need something in exchange for the thing that you need. Like in the past, would have been barter trade. So you bring your cow, I give you my goods. Sort of. Now you want a cow, you bring money, I take your money and I give you the good. So it's really for transaction purposes. Yeah.
Any more thoughts? G, what is money for?
Motivation.
It's for what?
Motivation.
What is it? Did you say motivation?
Yeah.
Okay. I think money is for motivation. Can you expand? Can you expand on that?
Well, let's say if we didn't have any money in this world, and if everything we could get was just for free, it would most likely fall apart since there is nothing. There is no reason to do work. There's no reason for this house to be here unless someone gets paid for it. Unless someone gets paid to make stuff like that.
Right, I get what I mean. Okay. So in that sense, it is motivation. Okay. Any more? What does money mean to you? What is your relationship with money? For those of you who just joined. The late Alina Comfort. The late Amopondria. What is your relationship with money?
My relationship with money. I use money, I do money transactions as far as I'm demanded to do so, as far as I'm supposed to do so.
Yeah, so for you, money is a transactional tool, isn't it?
Yes.
Right.
Exactly so.
But even, are you there? If you're there, what's your relationship with money?
Oh yes, I'm here. My understanding of money is energy, right? The money you are looking for is in people's pocket, and you tend to get it by the service you render. So then people would exchange money for a service they receive, and hence the name currency. It has the tendency to be constantly circulating and moving. So then if you understand the knowledge of what money is, then you can start tapping into that frequency by basically, adding value to yourself and rendering service. The starting point is you being able to provide service, and people will pay for things that they deem valuable, right? So for instance, fast food, it came about because people were busy, they didn't see the essence of going home and cook, and now it's like a multi-million-dollar firm or whatever. So basically the understanding of what money is just energy. I wouldn't just say it's energy. The starting point is energy. So if you are lacking that money, then that is a troubleshooting for you to actually ask yourself that question. What energy level am I on that I cannot, receive money? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. So guys put something in the chat as okay. Can you read that? You're muted.
Yeah. Sika says, just as my name suggests, my relationship with money is deep love. I love money, so it comes to me in many ways. Money is a means of exchange in any form or way.
Me and money are best friends, but sometimes we fight, and then
the money leaves you. You fight and the
then
money
pack
leaves
and
you.
load and go. Pack and load and go. I'll be begging her to come back. She doesn't want to. Then eventually we'll come back together, and then she'll come. Yeah.
Like, what type of coming is that?
What do you mean by that?
Okay. Money coming to me now. Aku, I haven't heard your voice if you are not working, if you are not engaged yet. What is your relationship with money? I'm just going in order of how you appear on my screen. Mary.
What about it? Relationship with money?
What is your relationship with money?
I don't have any relationship with it.
What does money mean to you?
To me, money is a convention that we agreed on, like a social convention as a means of exchange. And it's a symbology of wealth, but it's not wealth. That's how I understand it. So the gentleman talked about a fast food. It was an idea that somebody got. So to me, it's what the wisdom of taking or looking around and seeing what people need, depending on the situation, is somebody tapping into this idea, and then it evolved as a means of exchange for him, and he sells the fast food, and then he gets money. You pay for it, he feeds you with what's it called? Whatever, McDonald's, whatever, right? So to me, when the idea of money, like the paper that you touch, it's not the thing. It's the wisdom that, like Elon Musk is rich because of the wisdom to come up with something that the world needs, that everybody is tapping into, is what is bringing him that value of exchange. But if you talk about energy, to me, you didn't come to this world with money in your hands, but you came to this world with an idea evolving in your head. And all of us like that, right? So the conditioning that money is energy, I beg to differ. Because to me, the wisdom of who you truly are, the idea of somebody coming up with an idea of fast food, that is money. But money in terms of, that is wealth, right? So if something is a symbol of something, the symbology is not the thing. To me, we have confused wealth with money, right? Because think about it, the pound sterling, if it doesn't have the backing of anybody, and everybody decides not to use a pound sterling again, how wealthy is a pound sterling then? It's nothing. It goes back like Zimbabwe, when they decided, while they were going through all these global challenges, nobody is using their money. The money was worthless, right? It lost its value. So please, I think we have to understand something here, that money is an idea. It's an idea that we came up with, saying that we can carry a whole cow as your wealth to give to somebody and take, say, a camel. It's too big to do that. So to make this exchange really, to facilitate the exchange of the wealth that we have and we use money to make it easier to exchange. So it's a social convention that we've all agreed to. See? But the real deal is you, the being who have an idea come to you. I remember Joseph Murphy always used to say this. You see a car, a Rolls Royce sitting there, and you say, oh, I wish I had this. But you have to remember something. Somebody's idea is that Rolls Royce that you are looking to buy. So what if you also have an idea? That is your wealth. See, that is your money. Then you can exchange that idea, and somebody will buy your idea and give you money, and then that's how it goes. So it's a symbology of wealth, but it is not the wealth itself. The actual wealth is the wisdom, is the idea that came up to bring up that symbol, to use that symbol of, paper to exchange. So if you have a good idea, somebody will buy it. And then you say, oh, I'm rich because I have money. No, you are rich because you have a good idea that has changed into a symbol called money that you can now use around. So your wealth is your idea and not the money.
Thank you.
Me, that's how I see it. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Teresa. Are you going to talk today? But I should give it a pass. Oh, she's not even there. Beautiful. So we've gotten to hear from everyone, and it's very interesting thoughts. I think what this money is meant to be spent, so I love spending money. Okay. So, and I think the reason why, or the reason we get, like, as I said, you can have someone can be as conscious as whatever, and the moment the mention of money is made, they can just enter into fits, or everyone has what kind of triggers them. See, I'm not. Something funny happened once when I was in Ghana, and I think I had asked. I had come from a place of no tipping about 10 and a bit years ago to a place of very generous tipping in the last, like, 5-6 years. And I experienced that shift just through someone's act. You remember when I used to do taxi? Yeah. And one time I picked, there was this man and his family that I used to pick a lot. And one time I picked them for a fare of £40, and the man gave me 100 tip. I thought he had made a mistake. Okay. And I took the money. I'm like, are you okay? It's like, yeah, you can keep it, you can have it. He wasn't drunk or anything like that, so I didn't feel like I was abusing him. And I was like, you're a good man. And I just smiled, because I felt that it was just appreciation. Okay? It was just appreciation. I've told you this story before, that Brother Ishmael shared, that he had solicited a service of someone, and the person gave him a coat, and then he went around and was going to tell the guy that, you know what, go and increase this coat, because I can't pay you this, because I feel like you are undercharged. The value that you're offering me is far in excess, or what you are requesting for in exchange of the value that I feel you are offering me, far in excess of that. Go work on your invoice and take it up. Put whatever you want on it, and I'll pay. Okay? When myself, or when what was it called? I think the point that you said is a very, very valid point. But it's not like we say money is energy. Money is a representation of energy, because it is what that's why I can't say Tigai Muja. Okay? We exchanging our expertise, our intellect, our energy for that, to provide whatever thing that you want to have provision for, whether it's for you to be able to have a better living for or provide a better living or better condition for your loved ones, whether it's for you to be able to buy yourself or provide yourself freedom that you have no cares of having to need or having to lack anything. We exchange our expertise, we exchange our intellect, we exchange our energy for it. Because that has become, when there wasn't a need for anyone to hold fiat money, people were exchanging that for gold, they were exchanging it for silver, they were exchanging it for salt. So it's just a transition. So it's just a representation of our energy. And to even have a test, you see, to show us how we have probably degenerated in our thinking when it comes to appreciation of this. If I ask you right now, how much is Elon Musk worth? You are not going to tell me the worth of Elon Musk in his ideas. You understand? You're not going to tell me the worth of Elon Musk in his. You're going to, oh, okay, we know they say he's worth whatever trillion or whatever billions or whatever it is. So that is the thinking. I am yet to find anybody who it has become a convention, and sad as it is, because I have questioned that over time. Like, why should someone ask someone's worth even, and then straight away it is assessed or quantified in terms of money? Or just to give you.
Just as answered the question, he solved the issue for you.
He solved the issue for me, so I don't have to worry about it. Anyway, so it's something that I want us. I'm just going to drop it here, but I want us to like continually just consciously think on it too. Really, the intent is for us to begin to renegotiate our appreciation, our understanding, our relationship with money, for instance. Based on what will you go to, for instance, will you go to church? I'm just trying to say, let me use that for an example. And then you have £1,000 sat in your account and you take a £50 or £20 offering. It's your relationship with money that dictates some of these things. Based on what will you, what's it called? Will you go to shop? Will you go to the shop to get a gift for someone? And there's a £500 object sat there that you've got £500 to match. Okay, but you go and buy a £10 object for the person. It's the way, it's your relationship with money that dictates the choices and the options that, or the choices that we make. You understand? So it's something that I would want us to, in our own time, begin to kind of think about it. Okay, and conscious giving is meant to keep us conscious in this space. Okay. Any questions?
Bless you, sir. And just as you said, it just reminds me of the story of the young man who graduated from school, and his parents sent him to his uncle in the village for an advice, because obviously he's finished, he's not going into life. They sent him to the man with all the wisdom to give him an advice. And then the man started talking and said all that he had to say. And then this young man said to him, if you to be anywhere, so all that you have said, it is true. But if you had made it quantify all this advice and giving it to me, that go and set up a business, I think that would be worthwhile than talking too much. So rightly, as you say, and as somebody will say, it is true. Wealth is good. I mean, we have people who've got the ideas, who've got the knowledge, have the word in that essence, in that manner. But if you had to mention 10 wealthy people in the world, nobody will mention my grandfather in the village. My grandfather, the whole village, if they want counsel, everybody will go to him. But nobody will mention him because they can't quantify the wisdom that he has. And so it's good when you brought in money, it helps us in the space that we are now, because then we'll begin to let us renegotiate our relationship with money, just as you said. Because all that we are doing, giving and then receiving, majority of it is based on substance. We can sit here and talk about all the energy you give to the universe will give it to you some way, somehow. But until we get there, all that we are doing, majority of it is on substance. Because we are giving out what we have. If I give you my time, you might appreciate it. But people tend to appreciate people giving them money than me being there for you. It's only because we don't understand, we don't really understood that giving and receiving. And so it is good that we narrow, after all is being said and done, we narrow, well, just as you see, we narrow it to the substance that we're talking about. And it boils down to your relationship with money. So I go to the shop, I went to the shop with Mary to buy a perfume for a friend. And then we see there are different sort of women perfume. Some with, some 25 ml, 100 pounds. You will see some 100 ml, 40 pounds. It's a lot, but and then you begin to think, oh, your friend, how close you are or how the person is. All those come into play. Okay, then let me buy this for the person. If I'm going to buy something for you, Rev, I went to a perfume shop, I'm going to buy something for you. I don't think of it, regardless, the price. Oh, this would be nice on Rev. Okay, it's £100. Let me buy it for you. If I'm going to buy something for somebody that I'm not very close or have that relationship with, oh, this person cry. Okay, let me look at my finance. I begin to check my finance before I'm able to buy for the person. So it's really good that you've narrowed it to the money aspect. It's something that we need to look into and talk about it more, because then that will help us to be able to understand what giving is, and then be able to give freely, irrespective of whether being it in substance or not. We will be able to give and receive without any sort of, will I receive it back or not? Sister Mary wants to say something. Go on, Sister Mary.
I think that all that we are talking about and our idea or conception of money is still being informed by the way we've been brought up. So to me, we are putting the horse before the cart. Like, it's like not kind of thing. So you see
and
people
true,
praying Radimamisika, but I don't see how Elon Musk is praying for Radimamisika. I think they questioned. They went deep within and something popped up, and that is what translated into that. But we are still using say A, B, C, D. Even when you have the scale, we always change it for. It's still a convention. A convention is not rules. A convention is an agreement that we've all agreed. So then, when you go to work, your skill that you have is your value, it's your worth, and then you expect to be paid back. Okay. I have seen and listened to, people that have, in their experience, they have gone to board a flight and they didn't have money. For their own, whatever wisdom they know, I don't know. But like I can mention, they feel like Lester had, when he awakened to some troops within him, carried his life around this world without money. Money was not part of his thinking. Why? It's because he had a shift in his understanding of what actual wealth or value is. So I'm not saying anything is right or wrong. I'm saying it depends on where your thinking is or where you are coming from or your understanding. Okay? The same thing with like Joseph Murphy is a good example also. People that were really rich and come to a certain level of understanding or have a shift in their consciousness also came into something really different about the way we think about money, right? And it's something different revealed itself to him. Like Alan Watt would say this: what do you love? What you love doing, the art, whatever that you love doing, is who you are. And who you are brings back that exchange, the value of money or whatever you want to call it. But really, the symbology, and that is why we go in church and pray. Nobody is praying, God, give me an idea. Nobody prays that, right? Because that is not where our mind is. Our mind is, so the end is midinya sika. What about that wisdom too? I've been in that space too, right? Where all I'm thinking is finding a job and getting money. Otherwise, I won't survive. somebody also would say, you know what, there is something in you that will help you create something different, and the money will come, you don't even know where it is. That is he letting you go back and discover that. First, discover something there. We all have something of value. So we exchange for what? The symbol called money. Because money is not wealth. Money is a symbol of wealth. Two things.
Okay. So I think
That's how I see it, right? So that's my understanding. I mean, I may be wrong, but that's how I understand it. That I think we are putting
it's
the cause before the
perfect. It's perfectly taken, and I just want to. I think this highlights a point. I will let us do a session just purely on this, but I only brought this in because let's be minded by the fact that we are talking about conscious giving, and it's just in relation. It was just to bring the point, or to bring out the fact of how people, or of how our relationship with money ultimately determines how conscious we are when it comes to giving. So it's not a question of the difference between money, wealth, and all of that. But I do get the point. It was just to highlight that often at times when people have got unconscious reactions when money is mentioned, it is because of our relationship with money and how we see money that determines how conscious we are when it comes to giving in the area of money. And you remember, if you recall, 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, Pastor K, you were here, and I made us read Isaiah 55. Remember, and that's when I said that some of these ideas and thoughts that did I go what would Paul would say, let him that doesn't work, let him not eat. And I asked the question finally that Doron is not working, but it's eaten. So you understand, right? And I quoted Isaiah 5:55 again, and I did say that, come all you who are thirsty, come to the waters. You have no money, come buy and eat. Come buy and drink. What's called come buy, drink milk without money, without any cost. And I did share that tests like that got me to rethink on how we view this, and I have been a witness and I've been a beneficiary of this grace, so I kind of understand that. But it's just for us to understand that often what affects or what impacts us in the area of conscious giving is our relationship with money. That was the point. Okay. So let's wrap this up. I want us to take the next 5 minutes and just relax. Allowing your focus, your attention to go to the various sensations in your body. Even as we wrap up our session of conscious giving, obviously we are not done. We can never, in this house, we can never be done with dealing with a particular subject, because every year we revisit it and talk about different aspects of it. But this is where we are dropping it for this time, to pick it up again whenever the occasion permits or whenever our schedule presents. Every thought produces an arousal. Give me a second. Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me?
Yes.
I want you to begin to allow your mind to without trying to force any thoughts into it, without trying to predetermine any outcomes. Ask yourself the question, how do I expand my giving to enrich others? Knowing that the other is just an extension of your own self. That has been the crux of all that we have discussed these past weeks. How do I expand my giving to enrich others? Let us think. And as you ruminate on this thought, I'll give you 3 steps to help you. But these are steps I use anyway. I've come to use as well. Just sharing with you. Is allow yourself to identify thoughts that can bring you joy, thoughts that can bring you health, thoughts that inspire creativity, or whatsoever desire is. Whatsoever a desirable outcome is, identify thoughts that bring about that particular desire or that brings about that particular feeling. Arrest as the thought, celebrate it as it arises. As you're doing that, let the energy of that thought begin to fill you. Thought that brings you joy, thought that brings you health, thought that brings you serenity, thought that brings you soundness of mind, thought that inspires your creativity. Celebrate it. And allow the energy of that thought to fill you. And as you are caressing that thought, in that process, ask yourself or give yourself the benefit of identifying, who do I know that needs this thought and the feeling that is giving me right? Who do I know? Who comes to mind? Who is it that comes to mind that needs this thought and the feeling that is giving me right now? Who needs it? This thought that's bringing me joy, this thought that is bringing me peace, this thought that is bringing me soundness, this thought that is a depiction of wholeness, this thought that is inspiring my creativity, this thought that is firing my soul up. Who needs it? And who do I see being a beneficiary of this feeling that this thought is giving? What thought brings me joy? The thought of experiencing a 2.5 billion financial increase brings me joy. The thought of the over 8 billion people around the world, around this planet, Experiencing inner peace brings me joy. The same thought that brings you joy can cause another to faint on. So then, by extension, you're saying, this joyous feeling that I'm feeling right now, who needs it? Who needs this joy? Well, that's me. Conscious giving, think about it. And then allow yourself the benefit of feeling, because maybe the thought of having £1 million excites me and gives me joy, but for another, that may be a burden to them. So then we are allowing ourselves, even as we have identified who needs this joy that I'm feeling right now, ask yourself and allow your spirit to decipher what thoughts in that person can produce this joy for them. So this joy that I'm feeling, what thought in this person that I believe could benefit with this joy would produce that joy in them? So you're going beyond yourself now. So maybe for me, the thought of having £2 billion in my account right now is bringing me joy. But for the person who I'm thinking, who I'm incubating right now, of sharing that joy with, or sending that joy with, or joy to, maybe for them, the thought of having a peaceful relationship could give them joy. Are you with me? So as the person comes to mind, just begin to allow yourself to come up into the thought that will give the person the feeling of that joy, that peace, that soundness that you are feeling right now, because it might not be the same as yours. So what thought in Charles will produce a similar feeling to the joy, the peace, the soundness that I'm feeling right now? His need may not be money. It may be to have a sound and a peaceful relationship with his employer. Spirit knows all. And as that thought arises in you, for example, Charles, I see you are reconciled with your manager. Marie, I see that a contract that you're waiting for and you're so longing for, you have received it and it's flooding you with joy. And by this process, what you're doing is you are releasing the thought to the person. And that is your great gift to them right now. You are expanded into a universal giver. We're doing the planetary healing sessions on Thursdays. Spend time and I sit. And I probe that what thoughts in all mankind will bring about world peace. And then I hold that thought for as many happy faces that I can see around the world. For the next 3 minutes, do that now. thoughts, send a feeling. Pick 2, 3 people, thoughts, send a feeling. And once you have done that for 3 people, return to this space, to this body. At yourself. Bring yourself back into this space. If you finish, just unmute yourself and say amen. But I know you are done.
Amen.
Amen.
Beautiful. So that brings us to.
Can I have my slippers?
That brings us to the end of this practice. And this month, this week, the rest of the year, I just charge you to do this exercise that I've started doing about 2 months ago. So each week, each month, identify 2 or more gifts you've given out consciously, and 2 or more gifts that you have received. Okay. And see if you can find a trend. It will also tell you something about yourself. It will awaken you to what you consider a gift, and it will awaken you to your own value system. The 2 or more gifts that you consider to be treasurable that you have received this week, this month, 2 or more that you have given this week, this month. Practicing that. Okay? And if you're feeling like it, you can share it with me. Accountability helps. I'm more than happy to share mine with you. If you share yours with me, I'll share mine with you. It's as simple as that. If you aren't sharing yours with me, I won't bother sharing mine with you. But if you want to share yours with me, I will share mine with you. Don't have a problem. Okay? Shalom and life to us. Remember, what you keep, or you keep what you give away. We know we don't give away, but whatever you keep or whatever you give is what you keep. And your giving allows you to expand in a world of contraction. And a conscious giver transcends or has the benefit of transcending his own judgment. We strengthen our receptacles. Love you. We'll be here in the same space next week to continue with our next practice. I'm not telling you. You want to find out? Have to check next Sunday. I know someone will be here. Bye-bye.